for me, Brazilian tends to have that kind of Brazilian swing to it, which isn't samba. It isn't, it's almost like it's a, what's that instrument? Cavaca? No, what's the instrument? What's that instrument called?
Cuica,
Cuica,
cuica.
Cavaca. Cuica. It's like there's always something there that gives it that. This is Brazilian.
It's a
It's the,
feeling. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm feeling that we have, like a
yeah,
pulse. And I think that this is very unique in each kind of culture. But this pulse here in Brazil is very energetic. It's very, and this thing with the sun, because it's all the time hot in here, and we are always like, oh my God. This really affects our way of the music.
singer. Not only has she got the vocal cords of an angel, but this person, I must say, I first discovered when one of our mutual friends played me one of her songs, and I was just blown away because it's one of the reasons why I love Brazil. So today we are joined by the amazing singer Helo Ternorio. I hope I said your name correct. How you doing, Helo?
It's everything fine here. And you said my name right.
Good, good, cool. Yeah, welcome to the Brazilian podcast. We're very grateful to have you join us today.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
So today, I really wanted to talk on the Brazilian podcast with yourself about music and the influence of the type of music that you do around the world in Brazil and how you got into it, and just finding out a little bit about music. So, first of all, what kind of music? Introduce yourself. So, who are you for everyone, for our listeners?
All right. Well, I'm an artist here. I work with music, and I'm a composer, I'm a singer, a piano player, and also I'm a teacher, music teacher here. I work with singers, mostly with Brazilian music. And I do a lot of researches in this field. I not just I teach Brazilian music here, but abroad in other parts of the world.
Nice. And how long have you been teaching music?
Well, now around 15 years. I started at a very young age because I'm from a music family here in Rio. So I started very, very young. I was around 5 years old when I started to play piano and sing and do everything. And since I was 17 years old, I started to teach. Yeah. And since that, since there, I'm doing this career and work with music here in Brazil is very challenging because you can do many stuff. You have many paths to get. So it's difficult to decide for one because once you love that, once you like that, like me, I love my job. You want to do everything.
So teaching. What is the specific type of music that you do, or the different types? Because you talk about you teach, you sing, you perform, you write. You
Yeah.
also you're doing your masters as well, right?
Yeah. I'm doing my master in Brazilian music. I'm trying to develop a method for singers all over the world who are interested in work with Brazilian music in an instrumental way, doing that different sounds that we
Mm.
have here in our music. Because our music's based in many different cultures, not it's not just about being Brazilian, but we have a very crazy mixing here. So once you start to research that, there are many topics that's important to understand. And especially I would say about
Oh, okay.
African culture. We
Mm-hmm.
have a lot in here, and also from the native people here. So it's very rich. A lot of colors in our music.
Yeah. What is the type of music that you do? What is it more based on? Is it the native indigenous, or is it more African, or is it, more European? How would you describe?
Well, it's difficult because nowadays Brazilian music is the mixing of everything of this Europe, American, African, and native. The music that I do as a composer is this mixing. Because when I do music, it's not like, oh, now I will do something more African or now I will do some more European. No, the music comes and then I see the paths
Mm.
that the music leads me to. So I have many songs that I wrote that are very African. I have many songs that are like a little bit American, like in R&B style, and depends on what the song demands. Music demands. I just work for it.
Okay.
But
Wow.
as a performer, as a singer, I work a lot here in like private events, corporative events. So they are always asking me to do uh, repertoire for events like pop music, bossa nova, jazz, and commercial music that plays here in Brazil.
Yeah.
So depends depends on the time and the
The
event
type,
that I'm
the
doing.
event. Yeah, the event exactly. What do you think is your, like? I don't know, because I noticed when I think of Brazilian music, I'm like you. I'm like what you described in terms of. I feel like it comes a bit. It's a bit African. It has a bit of an African influence. It has
A
a bit
lot.
of a little bit of a European influence. Like it sounds a little bit salsery, which I could
Mm-hmm.
suppose might people might link with, connect with Spanish or something. Um, and then it also does have that, some instruments that are only you can only really relate with Brazil, like I didn't know that some instruments or some sounds existed in
Mm-hmm.
other parts of the world except for Brazil. Like, is that
Yeah.
true? Like, are there certain sounds that are like come from Brazil?
Yeah, I think that you have different kinds of mixing. Like when African people arrived in Brazil was a kind of mixing. When
Hmm.
African people arrived to Cuba and Central America, it's another kind of mixing, and to the North America is different. But here in Brazil, we have this culture of, how can I say in English, tambor.
Tambo, like the
Yeah,
drum.
yeah. But it's not drum. We have these percussions that you, because this is different if you understand the difference of Brazilian music and North American music, because North American is more square tempo, more drums, and here is more percussive and more syncopated time.
Mm.
And this way that music developed in here is based because of the tribes that came from Africa are different from the ones that went to the north. And also because in the north there was a rule that were demanding to African people that they could never more play these tambours because
Oh
they
wow.
were using this to do rebellions. And here in Brazil, there were not this rule. So the way that rhythms were developed here were completely different from the north.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. This is like the main thing samba here. And there are some people that says that samba is starting in Rio. There are some people that says that samba is starting in Bahia. This is a
Mm-hmm.
big fight in here.
I've heard this.
Like
I've
people in
heard this
Bahia will
fight.
say that samba is from Bahia, and people here, yeah. And honest, I don't know where it came from, but for me, samba came from Africa,
That's easier to say. Yeah.
origin.
Or would
I sorry, I think that
Yeah, the
the
connection
connection
went
went out.
again. That's okay. Hey, your English is so good, by the way.
Oh,
Oh
thank
my
you.
gosh, your English is like really, really good. Okay, cool.
Thank
Yeah, I'm
you.
like so surprised. Not because I knew your English was good, but I'm surprised that like, wow, you really can speak for a long time in English and you don't, you're not hesitating with your words and stuff. So it's really great. Really great.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you mentioned that there's this debate in whether samba started in Rio or it started in Bahia.
Yeah.
And but for you, where do you think it started?
For me, it started in Africa. And the way that developed here in Bahia and in Rio were different. But in the end, they connected because there was a migration in the time of our history that people came from Bahia to Rio.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, everything connected. And I live in Lapa. That's a very famous place here in Rio
Mm-hmm.
for samba. And I grew up in this Santa Teresa, Lapa, Gloria, that are considered places for this kind of music. So wherever you go around here, you will hear samba
Mm-hmm.
in every place. So even if I didn't want to work with samba, I would never have an exit because it's like part of my life. Everywhere that I go, I hear this kind of music, like carnival and this kind of things. I grew up in this. Like
Yeah,
when
you
I
were
was
raised.
like when I was a little child, I was the princess of the band of carnival. So
What
it's
is your samba school?
this is difficult because I love many samba schools here.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm not like part of one especially, but I love Portela,
Okay.
I love Mangueira, I love Salgueiro, and I love Mocidade Independente. And I used to go to these places to go to the rehearsals and to be there with the community, with the musicians and samba and this kind of thing because I love that. But I love this kind of carnival, because here in Rio you have carnival from the samba schools. That is one thing from the parades that are very famous, worldwide famous. But you also have the street carnival that are made of bloco de carnaval. And I'm not that so into this one. I don't like at all.
No?
No.
What happened? Why don't you like so you don't like the carnival blocos? Why not?
Well, I love music. I love this these parties, but Bloco de Carnaval, for me, in my opinion, in the last years just turned to something just to get crazy, just to get crazy.
An
And
excuse
this
to
for
get
me,
crazy.
yeah, and I already work in the music business and I'm already always in parties and this kind of events. So there is nothing different for me to be in a crazy event.
Mm.
So when I go to a party, like a carnival party, I want to see music. I want to see dance. I want to see the culture. And in Bloco de Carnaval, for
So
me,
profano.
it's just to have fun. So for me, it's not my purpose in carnival.
Yeah.
And especially because I'm this like every year since I'm a little child.
Yeah.
But there are many different kinds of carnival in Brazil. You told me that you were in Salvador, and the carnival there is completely different thing, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I've been there.
How does it compare? Which do you prefer, Rio Carnival or Salvador Carnival?
I don't think that's a matter of preference. Depends on my mood in the year.
Mhm.
So Carnival in Salvador is more like axé. That's another style of music. And sometimes I'm more in this mood. And also you have Carnival in Recife with frevo, maracatu. That's amazing. Olinda. It's wow. Oh my God. I've been there once and it was like, oh, beautiful, because they put all that different clothes and that different rhythms. And this for me as a musician is just like, oh my God, you know. But there are also other kinds of carnival that I never been to, like in the north of the country,
Mhm.
like in Amazonas and Pará, that people says that is very nice, but I never been. Brazil is huge.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Olinda. Yeah, I haven't been to Pernambuco carnivals, but I've heard they're. Are you going to perform at this carnival this year?
No, no, because I will not be here in Brazil in this time because I will
Oh,
be teaching outside
okay. Where are you going?
in Italy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because I have this course in there in the south of Italy, in Sicily,
Hmm.
that's called Vocal Connection. And this is the place where I started to teach Brazilian music, like with singers in music conservatories,
Hmm.
and it's something that I really love to do.
Talking about the type of music that you do, like, what genre are you describing it in? Like, would you say that it's MPB? Would you say that it's MPB, musical popular brasileiro? Would you say that it's funk, for example? I'm sure it's not funk, but is it bossa nova? Is it like axé, samba? How would you describe the type of music that you do?
Yes, very, very hard to answer this question, but I think that the best answer for that would be MPB,
Hmm.
música popular brasileira. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's a general way to describe many things here in Brazil.
yeah,
Once our music is so big, I mean, has many ways of express and many colors of many mixings. It's very hard sometimes to, oh, this is like bossa, this is samba, this is baião. It's sometimes hard
yeah.
because our music is in a stage that very was were very mixed.
Yeah, you're
So
mixing a
you,
lot of different influences. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So you can have in one song a time that you can hear a little bit of samba, and a time that you can hear a little bit of, I don't know, rap. And
mm,
we are in this time, I think, that music is getting more and more modern and mixed. And also because of the globalization and this thing now after quarantine, after the pandemic, I think that we are more and more like connected in a world way. So we are doing like many collabs with artists from all over the world. Like
yeah.
in quarantine, many artists like from outside were, oh, hello, can you do these lyrics for me? I'm here like a friend from Netherlands. Please do these lyrics for me.
Wow.
And so I love this exchange because then you can add this new feeling for your music and also you can offer this to other music. So more and more I think that we are became one.
Yeah.
This is what I feel.
Are you? Do you think that you're? I mean, that's so cool because I remember when I would listen to like for example, Ohapa, which is like a
Mm-hmm.
rock band, like a rock. No, sorry, it's like a rap band, but
Yeah,
it's kind of
they
there's some rock influences,
they have.
and it's a Brazilian band. So in my head, it for me, Brazilian tends to have that kind of Brazilian swing to it, which isn't samba. It isn't, it's almost like it's a what's that instrument? Kavika? No, what's the instrument? What's that instrument called?
Cuica,
Cuica,
cuica.
Kavika, Cuica. It's like there's always something there that gives it that this is Brazilian.
It's a feeling.
It's
It's a
the
rhythm. It's a rhythm feeling that we have, like a pulse.
yeah,
And I think that this is very unique in each kind of culture. But this pulse here in Brazil is very energetic. It's very, and this is what I feel like when I'm not in Brazil and when I came back after a long time. It's like, oh, now I get back
yeah,
because I can feel this again. But this is not just about music. This is about our way of talk, about our way of move, about our way of, express our bodies. So it's much more than music. I think to understand our thing in music, it's just by living this feeling because music is just the way of express this way of life and this thing with the sun because it's every hot all the time hot in here and we are always like, oh my god. This really affects our way of the music.
yeah. I bet it does. Have you ever recorded? Have you recorded abroad before?
Yeah, i did
Yeah,
I did, but just like singles, like
yeah.
separate songs. I
What
never
what
did
what
an album.
what were the songs or what were the singles and how did you feel about them? How did you feel about those bodies of work? Like, do you like
How do
them?
I
Yeah, like, what's your feeling
yeah
towards them?
like yeah, that's it's interesting to say because I don't think that an artist always like what we do, but sometimes I think that all experience are nice, so you can develop and increase. So there are some stuff that I did in other languages that I liked a lot.
Yeah.
In English, I did some songs and they are on the Spotify and this kind of thing. Um, I already did in Spanish and in Italian. Yeah,
What's some of the songs that you recorded in English that we could listen to, that we
there
could
is
check out?
one that are my lyrics. It's called I Miss You, but it's a bossa nova thing. And I love it. This is something that I liked that I did.
Yeah, I've heard that one. I like that one. That's
Yeah.
yeah. This is what I wanted to talk to you about because I love bossa nova. My history of Brazilian music, it's kind of like this weird love story between Seu Jorge
Mm-hmm.
and bossa nova.
Yeah.
Because when I first found out, discovered Brazil, I know my Columbus discovered Brazil. When I first learned about Brazil, it
Yeah.
was from watching Cidade de Deus, City of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I just fell in love with Seu Jorge's character in it. I thought he was so cool. Zé Galinha. I was like, wow, this guy is cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my teacher who showed us the film, he was like, yeah, this is a singer and an actor. So I was like, okay, let me listen to his music. So I started listening to his music. But this was when I was in school and I was learning how to make films and media and stuff like that. So I would put a lot of jazz in my music that I was in my film, sorry, that I was making. And what I would do is I would just try and put like Brazilian jazz. And if you type in Brazilian jazz, you normally get a bit of bossa nova, or like you get like Tom Jobim or something like that. So
Yeah.
so I would always listen to Seu Jorge or something completely different, which would be like some bossa nova, like, it could be Bebel's Gilberto or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I always was like, wow, like Brazil really loves jazz. And you listen to like Garota de Ipanema and stuff, and you think, wow, everybody has done a version of this song.
Of course.
Brazil must be the home of jazz. This is what I
Yeah.
thought. So when I moved to
Mm-hmm.
Rio, not one place I went to, not one corner, I found anybody playing jazz music, and I couldn't believe it. And like I was like, is it really popular in Brazil, in Rio, like I thought it was? I thought this would be like the place, Do you know what I mean?
Of
Like I had to
course.
really find it. I was like, whoa, no. I had this idea that, Rio was where they only listened on the beach. They only listened to ding 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 desafinado. This is what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Instead, I'm hearing funk
Yeah.
and MPB. I couldn't, well, not even MPB, but that amalgamation of every other type
Yeah.
of music. Yeah.
And that's very funny that you said, because always when my friends came to Brazil,
Hmm.
they ask me, "Oh, hello, please, can you take me to a place to hear bossa nova?" And I tell them, I don't know if this will be an easy job because bossa nova was very popular here around the 50s and the 60s. After that, not anymore. But the media and the way that our music spread it out around the world were like freezed in this period, in this time. And after that, I think that people around the world didn't updated this conception.
Hmm.
And also because of the movies and everything, how this is exposed to people in a international way.
Yeah.
But you can still find in some specific places. I've been working in a place that they considered as like uh, I forgot the name in English, but when you the place where you put the baby.
Oh, the creche, nursery.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
considered
How do
this
you say in Portuguese?
berço.
Nossa, nunca vi isso em minha vida.
Yeah.
We will find out. Someone will leave a comment or I'll Google it. But yeah. But yeah,
So
the
they consider this place in Copacabana is called Beco das Garrafas as this nursery place of bossa nova because in the 50s most of the bossa nova artists were there playing, and this place uh, still resists, it's still opened,
it's still open today.
and yeah, until today. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's
Yeah, this is like it's near Lemmy.
yeah, it's in Rua do Vivier, and it's called Beco das Garrafas. And I played there several times. Like many big names of our music played there, like Elis
Only the best.
Regina,
Mm.
um, that other one that is very famous and lives in America from that music, Mais Que Nada. Oh,
Sergio
Maria.
Mendes.
Sergio Mendes, yeah, he played there a lot. Many big names of bossa nova played there.